Morning, world. This morning I find a good reason to expose something. Not to bash anybody, but I believe people need to be aware of something so they can be alert also of it. That something is about someone who is doing the population very wrong. Someone who lived a careless life despite of a good wife, excuse me, and decided to live other lives outside of his marriage and caught a disease that he feels the right to propagate among other people that who are innocent, who didn't tell him to go catch it from anyone. I started to do a blog on life stories. I did part 1 and part 2. Part 3 was coming. But because of the situation that I find myself in, sometimes I go to other topics and then go back to another. Whichever that comes to my mind at that time, that's what I talk about. I can organize that later on, but right now I don't really care how it comes out as long as I put it out there. Right now, let's consider this a part 3 of my blog story. On the part 2, I left off where the aunt hooked me up with her nephew. What she had said that, okay, La Tortue people, they're from Ile de la Tortue. That's in French. But in Creole, they just say La Tortue or Moun La Tortue. So she said they don't treat people from their own island good, but they treat other people good. Be very careful of what I am saying, because this is an alert to the world, because this man feels the right to propagate the disease. It comes to me, and I have to alert people about it. It doesn't matter if you're in group orgy with that person. Now, if you let yourself go and catch it, don't say Katsia didn't warn you. Yeah, he tried to give it to me many times, unsuccessful, because God says no. He ended up giving it to my sister. Very important. And my mother, Wooty, might end up having it too, because doing orgy, she had to participate also for the sex ritual. There is no telling. I haven't got the vibe yet for that, but I know she's suffering of stage 3 cancer. That's her karma for what she has done to me and my 3 children, because that's the bloodline they wanted to erase. Okay. Now, the individual that I am trying not to bash, I'm not going to talk bad about him. I'm just going to speak of fact and what he's doing to infect many other people. He's already done it to many. I married this man in November. We had a Thanksgiving wedding. 2026. No, 2006. I'm sorry. Dates always got mixed up. I've been through so many things. Okay, at the wedding, he sat across me. The church I grew up in, there would be besides you. And then both people would be facing the pastor. But in Seventh-day Adventist, they don't do it like Wesleyan church. They face the couple across each other. So as they doing the ceremony, and then you're looking at each other. Mine, I did not get the chance to enjoy looking at my husband to become, because I ended up crying instead of smiling and laughing. My mother, who always play support all the time, she had to leave her seat and came to me and bring me a piece of tissue to wipe my eyes. She started to wipe for me and then she gave me to wipe my eyes. The reason why I ended up crying, because the way that the man was looking at me, there was no love. You didn't see no love. He was sweating. He's sweating. All his face is sweating. I was with him for over almost 2 years before we got married. So when you look at the nose always sweat on him. It indicates that he is very jealous. But when I say, wow, your nose is sweating like dog nose, he always say, no, it's nothing. But I know that is a sign of jealous. Someone that is very jealous, that has nose sweating and cold. Okay, so now at the wedding, all his face was sweating. I'm like, okay, is that cold feet? And I'm like, no, but cold feet would not be like this. He's not smiling at all. He's all stiff, and I'm like, okay, I couldn't understand. And then I started to cry. I was a senior, I was a U.S. citizen already, and the man didn't even have a green card. And you marrying someone with a citizenship, and then you acting the way you acting at the wedding. I'm like, okay, hold on. I'm a senior. I keep saying he's senior. I am a U.S. citizen. Why would that individual with no resident status act like this? And then I started to cry. My crying was like, okay, am I giving myself to somebody where it's not valued? My mom got up and come and wipe my eyes. And right there and then, the Katsia I know should have stopped the ceremony. Right there and then, because I don't play. Once I feel something, I act on it. But for some reason at that time, because I had given birth to Bruce Lee, and then I ended up being pregnant with the girl. So I'm like, I'm not gonna do it. We got married on November 25, and then I gave birth to my daughter on April. So, but my family, I later find out that my family was bashing me the day of the wedding while I went to church on Saturday morning. I was like, really? And then everything that my ex-husband was saying to me, I'm like, but how do you believe something like this? He said, oh, Katsia, it's family talking about you, family. I was like, but when we got together, I sat in a bed with you, ended up lying down with a piece of paper, and I write the name of men that I've been with. I wrote down names of people that I've been with, even the ones that molested me as a child, because we didn't have a parent in the house. And also my sister Claire was the oldest, was sleeping with a man in the room that we all sleep in. And then I couldn't be in the room with them. I ended up leaving and walk all over the place in the neighborhood until people molest me. So I was like the toy of the neighborhood. Now tell me something. So a family member tell you that, even extra things that I didn't tell you, how do you believe it's true? Or they don't just want you to just leave me? Because I sat down the number of names I wrote down for you. No woman will do that. No woman will do that. All right. In part 2, I did mention that he was sleeping with a married man, and the man happened to be his stepmother's little brother. Therefore, the wife, or let's say the door was too close. If I don't talk about this morning, let's say one extra person go and sleep with him today and catch that deadly disease because he makes it worse, and I will explain how he makes it worse. Because he did it to me. Thank God for what I am. I ended up rejecting what he had put inside me. Okay. Oh my God. Oh my God. Poor people who don't have my ability in my blood DNA. Because my DNA does not contract these things. I was told that in 2022. All right. So now, the lady that he was sleeping with before he met me, it seems like he never left that woman. The woman was not sleeping with only him, which I have told them. I said to him, Bruce Lee, the lady is married, living with her husband. She's meeting you early morning from work. Even when you come in from your work, you don't even shower, and she comes and bend down on you. You don't think she's doing it with other men? He was like kind of he was pensive, but while thinking, he said possibly, and then later on he felt the need to defend the lady. I'm like, okay. When I got pregnant with the boy, I started hearing words from his mouth that the baby might not be him. And I was like, I'm sorry. I moved in with you in January. My period came on January 20. And then my period doesn't come on February. Then the baby might not be yours. These are things that I went through just to be with somebody. I ignored his ignorance. Like he says all the time, he used the word aura. That's his word for ignorant people. Okay. All right. People, if you have the heart for other people, share that video, because people needs to know. He travels different places and spread the thing. He was not gay that I know. He made himself gay doing it with men to give it to men too. Listen, this is how vindictive and vengeful a human being can be. And I am not speaking just to talk. I am speaking what I know and see. Because when he's in the bed, it's like I'm seeing him, all his movement. I witnessed them. That's how I can explain it. Okay. In 2011, we moved to Massachusetts from Lauderdale Lakes. But the city we actually have the address was Tamarack. My brother advised me to come and live and rent the second floor of his new house so I could help him pay the mortgage. I was like, okay. I accepted. I moved with my whole family. But now, when a man has another woman in his life, he cannot really make plan with the wife alone, because he has another person that keep telling him, I cannot see you. How am I going to see you? After 30 days, he packed his things, even his toolbox, and then he went back to Fort Lauderdale. Abandoned me and my 3 children. Let's say 2, because 2 is his. He abandoned me and the children, went back to Fort Lauderdale. I said nothing. Jesus Christ, my witness. And the angels as my jury. God, the judge. I never complain. The only thing I do, if 2 months is passing by, I don't see him, I would call him. I'm like, or text. I'll be like, hey, what's going on? You don't call in, I don't see you. And then he'll be like, you want to see me? I'll be like, yeah. And then he will say, you want to see me? I'm like, yeah. Why are you asking me that many times? And he will say, okay, then get a ticket for me. Book a ticket for me. Then I would book the ticket. Then he would come. When he comes, it's always for a weekend. What weekend? He comes on Friday night and he leaves in the morning. So what weekend? All right. But for some reason, he was doing work on my chakras. Therefore, my third eye was affected since 2007, the year I gave birth to my daughter. I was told when my daughter come out, I was supposed to bleed to death by my doctor's office. My church people were calling me and praying for me. My mom was calling and praying. My dad was calling and praying. My sister who died was calling and praying, because these people have ability to see, they see the danger. But I was not feeling it at that time, because with the baby, the kicks and things like that, you're not really gonna feel urges and nudges and things like that the same way. But one morning, listen, every time I jump off my sleep, he's always already by my feet. For some reason, I jump off my sleep. When I jump off my sleep, I was like, And then he said, what's wrong? He used to call me Gramun. Gramun means old lady. And I met the man, I was 30 years old, he was 28 years old. But for some reason, he called me Gramun, old woman. Okay. He asked me, what's wrong, Gramun? I said, something was just done for us to split. He looked at me. He said, how do you know? I said, that's what I just saw. He said, okay, where is it from? I said, all I know is that I see an ocean. The ocean, on the other side, there is a small, tiny island. And then I see a big earth. Big earth would be the United States. The ocean would be really the real ocean. And then the island the person would be his island where it's from. I said to him, all I know is that I see an island and I see the big land and I see a woman standing on the island close to the ocean. I'm like, maybe your ex-wife. Then he defended the ex-wife. Oh, poor Ketley. Ketley doesn't know these things. Ketley said he's a Christian. Ketley doesn't know. I'm like, how do you know Ketley doesn't know? You're not with Ketley for years now. How do you know? Then I'm seeing new things. Do you know that same month, I ended up leaving Naples? This is where we met and we got married and have the 2 children. Do you know in August when my daughter was 4 months old, I ended up leaving Naples and go live with my mother? Didn't I say something was done for us to split? Okay. Now, the woman that he's sleeping with still ended up doing witchcraft to split us. Now, my sister was splitting us too. We didn't know. Now, how long have I been sleeping with this man and still had a negative HIV test? Only God knows. When I got to my mom, I was all calm, knowing that we split for him to come and join me after I find my own apartment. The reason why I left, because the man was getting 12 hours a week of paycheck. And I just had my daughter with C-section. I couldn't go back to work yet. My stitches had opened because within a week, I was driving him back and forth from work, even though I had stitches that were not healed. So my stitches opened. One morning I got up and I'm smelling something in the house, like close to me where I lay down. And I kept saying, my mom, my 3 sisters came to visit because the baby was just born. And I keep saying, I'm smelling something. What is that smell? And my sister would ask me, my little sister would ask me, what do you smell, Ketsia? I say, Shirley, I'm smelling something around me here. I don't know what it is. And then Shirley said, then why don't you check? I got up and now I feel a burn under my belly, right in the lines where I got cut. And I'm like, okay, I feel the burn. Let me see what it is. So I kind of lift the pouch, and then I see the cut open. I was like, oh my God, Shirley, my stitch is open. And she said, you want to go to the hospital? I said, no, you forget that I'm in the medical field. I know what to buy. I know how to clean it. And my little sister drove me to CVS. I bought what I needed. And then when I went back home, I cleaned it with sea breeze. I cleaned it also with hydrogen peroxide. And then I took care of the wound. And then I just patch it with a wide surgical tape. And I never remove it until it healed. Now, this is also part of what I've been through for that man. Not even one day the man feel like he's sick to just say, okay, my wife just had a baby, I'm not gonna bother her, I'm not gonna do this. Let me continue sleeping with that same woman. When we got to Boston, Massachusetts, he left back 30 days later. When he left, I just live with my children as if nothing happened. But I just called him 2 months later to find out what's going on. How come we don't hear him? The only thing, he just sent $600 to contribute for the children. Not for me, for the children. Because the rent was $600. My brother didn't charge much. He asked $600. Do you know that man was a Mason? He never said he was a Mason. Let's say what he said. What he did. My son was 5 years old. His son, our son, was 5 years old. Went to school and told his teacher that I hate him. Now DCF started to come to the house. DCF visited us at night before they actually come visit a female. I already know what's going on. Therefore, spiritual is in effect. I said nothing. The next day when the lady come and walk through the house like she already been there. I'm telling you. So my ex-husband ended up taking my son to Florida with him, almost to kill him. Jesus Christ. I stayed there with my daughter and my big son in Massachusetts, waiting to know how things gonna go. Because you don't just leave while DCF is investigating. There was a station radio called Family Radio. I opened it up and I was listening to certain information, and then they told there was a section where they talk about DCF and how to survive DCF. I went and followed exactly what they said. I started to place a camera by every door facing. So whenever the lady come, wherever she is recorded. The last visit, because I started to hear that when I received the reports, what she says always sound different from what I said. I'm like, okay. Now, on the last visit, my son already gone. I said to her, do you know you've been recorded every time you come here? Oh, she got pissed. Oh, you have no right, you have no permission to record me. I said, hold on. Right here, every time you come, you'll be recorded. She said, I give you no permission. And then I said, you will be recorded. And she just got up, and then she left. A couple of days later, she called me to now visit her instead of her coming to visit me. I rejected it. A week later now, she called me and said that they're closing the case. I was like, that's what the case should not have been open anyway. All right. About the reason why my son said I hate him, I will discuss that in a different blog. Okay. Now, when we in August, my no, in August, my ex-husband ended up picking us up from Massachusetts and bringing us all to back to Florida. I went and stayed with his cousin, a cousin that admired me very much. Now, while I was over Zana's house, my ex-husband went and pick up my son, my 5-year-old son, and brought him to me in Lehigh Acres, Florida. The child lay next to me. The body is so hot, I could not stand. I could not stay next to him. I'm like, Bruce Lee, why is Hansel so hot? I already know it's a fever, but I want to hear his story. I am sorry. Actually, I wanted to hear his story. And he said to me, yeah, he's been hot since before I left for Massachusetts. And I was like, and you didn't say anything? Do you know if I didn't get there and then took care for the child, something worse would have happened? I'm like, okay, so let's go to a pharmacy. Let's get some Motrin. Let's get Tylenol. Motrin is ibuprofen. Tylenol is acetaminophen. So as a medical assistant, I know to alternate medicine where they work faster. There is something wrong with his children, the 2 children that I have for him. They don't heal by mouth medicine. Every time they have fever, you have to do rectal medicine, the suppository, because my oral medicine doesn't heal them with fever. So I had 3 things. I had Motrin, Tylenol, and the suppository. So I used all 3 to make sure that fever went down very quick. And I put alcohol in the cold water and I bathed him with the cold water. The fever went down very fast. Now, how do we already know once there is a fever, there is an infection somewhere? Where is the question? Where is the infection? And how do we take care of it? Being what I am in the medical, I try to take care of it. But he always give me a hard time. Oh, let's go to the hospital. I say, I'm not going to the hospital until I know that what I'm doing is not working. Then I'll get the help of another person. He said, one night, he said, I'm taking the boy to the hospital. I said, okay, do you want me to come with you? He said, no. He took him by himself. Do you know he went to the hospital? He came back about 3 hours later. He told me that the doctor said there was no cure for my child. I chuckle and I laugh after. What did you say the doctor said? No cure? What do you mean no cure? Everything has a cure. I'm like, okay, hold on, let me see. I was like, tomorrow morning, can you take me, drive around and see if I can find some papaya leaf, please? He said, okay. I slept, I put compress on the child's head, the fever is now controlled. And then in the morning, we drove around, I found a house, a yard with a papaya tree. I asked the people in the yard, can I please have a leaf? They say, sure, you can have it. I didn't let nobody touch it. I went in there and I caught it myself and take it. When we got back home, I did what I had to do with it, and I called my baby, 5-year-old baby, and I said, open your mouth, take a sip, and then do not swallow. Just play with it in your mouth, let it touch your throat, and then hold it, and then spit it out. I put another, I believe, in the mouth. We said, do the same thing, do not swallow. Let it touch your throat. Get it down to the throat and then pull it out and spit out. And then I said, go lay down. Do you know, when my baby get up, I asked, where is the pain? Because he was playing. What happened to the pain? Mom, my throat is okay. Mom, pain is gone. My son was playing. And I was like, Goose Lee, didn't you say the doctor said there is no cure for my baby's throat? He said, yes. And I'm like, okay, now there is the cure. How many things I cure for Bruce Lee and you witness? Asthma one, and now amygdal. In my country, what he had in the throat, they call it amygdal. That was something with the tonsils. In the United States, they always end up cutting the tonsils. And me, I said, I'm going to cure it. And my son still has his tonsils right now, and he's 20. He's going to be 21 in November. All right. So, now, in 2012, my big brother ended up make my mom rent a place for us so we don't stay with people anymore. Because remember, I was not working, and the man refused to. No, my mom had told me not to talk to him. If I talked to him, he was not gonna support me, because my mom took me to the child support place in order to prove to them that I'm not gonna talk to my ex-husband. I went there. I said yes to him, but when I got there, I said no to the child support, because I don't believe in forcing somebody to take care of his child. And when I got back to the car, I said, yes, Mom, it's coming. All right. So this is the man that wants me dead with a disease that I didn't give to him, although he propagated my name through mud, telling people that I give it to him. And he knows he got it from his concubine, and the concubine knows that she gave it to him. From that apartment my mother rented for us, one night we got back together, but not the night he come. Over the phone we made up, and then when he finally come to visit, okay, husband and wife made up. Okay, then we go and, things happen. Do you know, I started to have my body itching. And I was selling Nikken products. He was having back pain. I massaged him with the magnets. And then I gave him the Nikken water in order to cleanse whatever inside the kidney causing him to have the pain. When he left, the night he left, he called me and said he had the pain had gone and would come back. And then when he came back, it's severe. I said, go to the hospital. In the form that they told you, they give you to write down, write the word humateria. That will help them, make them see you right away. So if I was not in the medical field, would I know the terminologies to tell you what will make the doctor see you right away in the emergency room? Say, write down hematuria, meaning it has to do with blood, and then it deals with the urine, blood in the urine. He called me, he's in the hospital. They see him, and then they cared for him. They shoot, it was a kidney stone. They shoot it for him to pee it out at home. I said, don't worry, it will come out. When it came out one night, it came out because, it's passing by, and then it bleed. He came out with blood. I said, do you know if I did not massage you with the magnet and drink the Nikken water, that thing could have stayed in your kidney and go and go and go? Instead of saying thank you, he gave me another reason why the thing worked for him. I'm like, okay, never say thank you. 2012, November, during Thanksgiving, I ended up leaving the house. No, that's another time. That's when I went to live with him, with his sister. So many up, back and forth with this man, because I could not be at peace. When I called them, I said, you came to me after we made up, and when you came, after you left, my body started itchy everywhere. What's going on? What happened? I know it's bacteria infection, but I want to hear his word. He said to me, he doesn't know. It was some type of powder, and it was my mom who put it on the mattress. I'm like, my mom is a Christian. Why would you accuse my mom of putting witchcraft powder on my bed? Do you know he was right? Because now we know that my mom was doing witchcraft on me. We now confirm that my mom could have done it. There was an older lady that I used to help with the nicking products. She appreciated me because I didn't ask her to buy it right away. I let her use mine to see if she likes it, then she purchased. So she ended up having me spend a month in her house with my 3 children because my mom ended up closing the list on us without telling me. All right. And my daughter was 4 years old. 4 years old. I'm like, okay. Okay. I'm thinking. But I always have my end in my bags. I'm always cleaning my system. I have to do something. I'm gonna come back. All right, I am back. I have outside. I remember saying that I used outside for these videos because my 2 new phones, I don't wanna use them here. God is taking me somewhere. I wanna use it when I get there. I don't wanna use the new phone here. Nobody to bug these 2 phones. Mostly I keep them off mostly. Okay. So we were in the part where yeah, the old lady, she died in October 2020, and that was my mommy. It feels it's paining me that she died and I didn't get to see her. Okay, that part went. I stopped talking about it, and I stopped thinking about it also. But that lady, while I was staying with her after my mother closed the list on me and the children, she asked me one day, why you sleep on the floor? Because that was a big bed in the room that she gave me. And I said, Mommy, I prefer sleeping on the floor. She asked me why. I said, my body is so itchy. I don't want my daughter to catch anything from me. And she said, Ketsia, it looks like she was able to see things. She said, Ketsia, there's nothing wrong with you. Go online, buy this, buy this, buy this, buy this. And then I went online, I bought everything she told me to buy. Do you know even the money I had to buy the things, she get me to get the money. How did she do that? The products of the Nikken that I used to sell, she ended up buying a kit for me for $1,236. She bought it from me. Then now I have cash in my hands to do what I need. It was body lotion with olive oil, coconut oil, and what else? Things to take care of my skin that was itchy. And then she looked at me, she said, Ketsia, there's nothing wrong with you, meaning you didn't catch no disease and things like that. She said, you only need something for your skin. I listened to her because she was in her 70s. One day, the old lady looked at me and said, you need to cut off your mother. She said, you need to leave your mother behind, your sisters. She said, everybody in your family, you need to leave them behind. I was like, seriously, Mommy? She said, yes, these people are not people you should be talking to. I didn't ask her no question. She said, yes, you need not to be seeing them, talking to them. You need just to leave them alone. I'm like, really, seriously? She said, yes. Do you know the lady helped me move to Pennsylvania instead of leaving me in her house? She said, you need to be away from your family. She helped me get to Pennsylvania. I went to the Ali St. John's that is in the line now, helping the people destroy me. That was my good friend. She used to call me sister. Because when she meet men, she used to call me and ask me, what do you think? Then she would give me the birth date of the person for me to say, Sagittarius, this is what you're going to experience. Aries, this is what you're going to experience. Be careful with this. Because so that's how she used to call me when she meet men. I was her sister. Now she's part of the people. Okay. So I went to Allison's place in order for me to have my externship, because my program in histotechnology was completing. I only needed 2 months of externship. I spent 2 months in Pennsylvania, and then I went back to Florida. This is when I find my ex-husband living with his sister. When I said I am coming back to Florida, it would be me and his son, because my big son was 16 years old. I dropped him off to New Jersey to his dad for disrespect. So now, and my daughter was already with my mother because she could not go to school yet in Pennsylvania because she was not 5. All right, that was a lot of back and forth. Jesus Christ. All because of a husband that does not understand things. When he accepted for me to come with my son, not you. No, sorry. No, I'm not. You looking for a room? Yes. They don't rent by room, it's apartment. Well, I know mine is in the 3,000. Yeah, they're 2 bedrooms. Yeah, 2 bedrooms. Well, you know what? They dealing with the state, so they charge the state more money. You understand? Okay. All right. I'm sorry. Sometimes it's not really communication for real. Sometimes they just want approbation from you to go and attack you. Listen, I speak from experience. All right. When I got there, honey, I'm doing a video. Bye. Someone passing by. Yes. Throw it away, put a new water and boil for me, please. Okay, it boiled too much. Yes, I am sorry again. Once I'm talking to somebody, my children always come and check who I'm talking to, because they know that I cannot lie. I don't hold things. I might end up telling too much to the people. So they're always watching what I say to people. Okay, so when I got to the apartment where my ex-husband lived with his sister, I got disrespected by the sister. We don't even talk. It's always just good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night. That's it. But still, she found a way to disrespect me. I am under the shower. She went to church on Saturday morning. She's coming in the afternoon after church. That's the time that I am in the shower. And then you hear her complain, the water bill. And then my husband would come, and then he would just turn the light off. When I heard the light, I see darkness. I'm like, oh, what's going on? And he opened the door. I'm like, Bruce Lee, you don't hear that I'm in the shower? Oh, no, I didn't know. I'm sorry. I'm like, you went to the bedroom, you don't see me. You in the living room, I'm not there. I'm not in the kitchen, then you don't think I'm in the shower? And you don't hear the water running? Then he turned it back on. Oh, Everett was complaining about the water. I said, I heard. All you could have said to Everett, that your little sister, in your apartment, you ended up giving her the master bedroom, but that's your apartment. You just giving her credit because she just came to the United States. All you had to say to her is that, Everett, you just walk in. You have no idea when Ketsia entered the shower. You don't have to complain. Let the woman shower and then she come out. The water bill was paid by the apartment, not us. This is to tell you how mental the issue was, because we didn't pay no water. Plus, I am in my ex-husband, let's say husband, because at that time, I am in my husband's apartment. She had to say nothing. One day she ended up telling me, no, I asked Boosly, I'm like, okay, hold on, Boosly, did you tell Evan that you don't love me? Because all the things that are happening between us, those things that she's saying, she knows something that I don't know. Then Boosly said, Katia, you dealing with Evan, leave me out of it. I said, leave you out of it. All you need to say is that, Evan, you need to show respect to my wife. Then the sister look at me. Why should Boosly love you? Why should Boosly love you? Then I'm like, of course she knows something. Later on, I find out that everybody in his family had picked the concubine over me. They preferred her because she is so good. She was married to the stepmother's brother. Ay. All right. Disrespect. Every time I give birth to a baby, the men have a DNA test done at the hospital right there and then. Disrespect. Because he knows I don't talk to men. I don't say good morning, no good evening, nothing to no neighbors, nobody. The only men I talk to, I don't consider them men. Not that I'm saying they're not men. This is the reason. I go to college, they're in the classroom, that's different. I talk to you in the classroom. We had chemistry class. I apologize. We have chemistry class. A lot of students need to group together. The students group together for better understanding of what Miss Franco explained in the classroom. So if there is a man that understands it better, or the students are going, I go alone. And I don't go alone, I go alone. Meaning, while the other students are going, I go with them. And then, I don't go alone, I go with my husband at that time. Therefore, he accompanied me. Pay attention to my words. Sometimes I say to him, why don't we go to a counseling? Oh, I'm not going to no counseling because the counselors don't have a better marriage life than us. I'm like, okay. One day I even go to the pastor, to the committee of the church we got married. When we got there, the pastor let us explain. First they let me talk, and then they asked him to talk, and then now there was 4 people. You have the first deacon, the second deacon, and the one for the family plus the pastor. They started now after we talked, and then they started to ask questions. Do you know, after everybody asked questions and we talked, the pastor just looked at Boosly and said to my husband, Brother Boosly, yes, do you know that you brought problem to your family? I said nothing, I just remained calm. I said, the pastor just said, do you understand that you brought issue to your family, to your house? Do you know that that man never talked to the pastor ever again? Because the pastor find the problem and discussed the problem, and he was at fault. Because you cannot keep bringing your family into your marriage life like this. After that, we went to the best man. The best man, I picked the best man because I love the way he lives his life with his wife. So I wanted someone to be an example for him, so I picked that best man. And who do you think that best man is? The best man is the husband of his cousin that happened to love me very much, Zana. So his family, again, I pick for best man. It's not that it's somebody from my know behind a long time ago, like he would doubt that I may have slept with. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, guess who the maid of honor was? The maid of honor was his aunt who introduced us together. I pick her. Therefore, I pick both people from his family. Because when I meet somebody, to me, I'm coming into a family to add, not to reduce, not to take away. Because I already don't have my family support since I was little. I always feel like I'm finding a family. I'm finally finding a family. That November, before Thanksgiving, when the sister disrespected me like this, and he only said, leave him out of it, I took my son, I went out. Where do you think I went? I went to his father's house and spent 3 nights there. Do you know them and never came to see if I am over his dad's house? They had a bunk bed. On the bunk bed, I slept with my son. And then the twins slept on the top bed, a bunk bed. It was a wide, not the small one. Every day I woke up, I deal with the stepmom because the stepmother is from the same village as my mother. And she could be a family and we never know. So I deal with her, we talk, we went buy food together because that was wedding anniversary was about to come because we had a Thanksgiving wedding. The stepmother one morning said, Katsia, come to the grocery store with me. I was like, okay, I went with her. And she asked me to drive. When I drove, and she said, Katsia, you've been here? I said, yes, I'm here. And she said, Katsia, are you not going to your house and cook for your husband for Thanksgiving? I said, Nini, what do you want me to do? I'm here for 3 days. He never come to visit to see if I'm here. He said, go home and cook for your husband. It's Thanksgiving. Do you know, I just listened to the lady. Yeah, she could be my mother. I just listened to her. And I said, but Nini, I didn't buy anything for Thanksgiving because I've been here. She said, I have many turkeys. You're gonna take one? I'll give you everything you need to cook. And I said, okay. After the grocery store, we went to her house and she gathered everything I need, every ingredient, every condiment. And then I went home. When I went home, she said to me, this is how it's supposed to be. Whether he eats it or not, you cook for your husband. And I said, that's how I do when I'm in the house. And I'm like, okay, I did what you asked me to. I went to the apartment. I find him sitting in the living room and he was watching a show on the TV. And I just said hi. And then I walked into the kitchen with the stuff and I cook. When I cook, I said, everything is finished. I said, if food is ready. He said, okay, well, give me a plate. We talked as if nothing had happened. When I gave him the plate, he ate the whole thing. I was like, wow, he was hungry. Then the rest of the food there, the sister may have gotten some, I don't know, because I didn't go back to nothing. I just went back as if nothing happened. I listened to the stepmother. When week passed by, I see there was no changes. There was somebody I have met. I called him. He was asking me out. I said no because The time that I met him, that was the time that I was living with my mother, and he and I were split. And I met the other men. He asked me out. I said no, because my mind was not on men at that time. I just want to live with my children. When I went back after the Thanksgiving, the cook I make, I'm a good cook. Lick your finger and bite and cut it off. I'm like, okay, hold on. I try my best for years, since 2005. In 2012, that's 7 years. We consider. I've been treated like crap, like shit, for no reason. He was on deportation for immigration status. I packed my stuff, I prepared my children's clothes, things to go to Canada with him because he didn't have a green card. That's a woman you treat like shit. And I am a citizen. I'm willing to go with you with my citizenship. My daughter was in the stomach. We were like, well, the girl might end up with 2 citizenship. Okay. Later on, he entered the Mason. This is when he entered the Mason. And then he said he's not going to Canada anymore. He started to do witchcraft for immigration to approve him. Okay. When I called the men, it's like at that time I just wanted someone to talk to. Someone like that could be willing to hear my problem without saying a thing, without judgment, just hear me out. And he said, Katsia, that's all you're going through? I said, yes. And I asked you out, you didn't want to? I said I couldn't because I was still with him. We split, but we didn't have the word that I'm gone forever. I call you now because I already said I'm gone. If I didn't say I was gone, I wasn't gonna call you. He said, oh, you told them you done with him? I said, yes, I said I'm done with him. Then he said, you are a good woman. I said, I try. That was November. In April, the men got me a ticket to visit him in Arizona. Visit to see how things are. He wanted to buy me a ticket for me and all my 3 children. I said, no, I'm not taking my children into this. Let me see how it goes. Then if we have to move together, we move together. But let me see first by myself. I went there. He sent me Uber. Uber took me to Miami airport. I ended up missing the flight. I spent the whole night at the airport, spending the night on the floor. When the next flight come, I flew past to Indianapolis and then into Arizona, in Phoenix, Arizona airport. But I went to Tucson. I don't like the way they say that word. To me, the word is toxin. They say Tucson, but it's a toxin to me. I went there. I was not happy because I pay attention to every details. What I was promised was not done. I was promised a poem that was gonna be ready. I got there. The second day, no poem yet. I keep asking for the poem. The third day, asking for the poem, until he see that I'm not living without the poem. He stood there and write it. And I didn't like the sex either. 5 minutes. To me, I was like, I told him the truth, I didn't lie. I was like, listen, you don't last at all. He said, he smiled. I'm like, I'm used to an hour. And he said, an hour. Katsia, you sit for an hour. I said, I don't sit, I lay down. Listen, I'm not gonna lie here. He said, well, we can practice, and then I'm like, sometimes it's not even, it's like you do a second round, it's 2 minutes. I'm like, hey, listen, the more you do it, it should be longer. How come it's different with you? And he was like, come on, Katsi, I'll give credit. I was like, maybe another time, for right now, there is no credit at all. 5 minutes, 2 minutes, I'm sorry. This is just you do it to dirty somebody's skin. All right. But I stay there and wait for the day for me to go. But I already told the men that I might not call because I didn't like the sex. Because that one day, I didn't do it anymore. Because if I'm not gonna be satisfied, why do it? So that one day, we did it 3 times, and in that 3 times, I said, this is enough. And then the next day, he touched me, I said, I'm sorry. The day I was leaving, he touched me again, I'm sorry, I told you I don't like the sex. And then he took me to the to the airport, and I flew back. When I went back, I had no one to give me a ride. So I ended up calling my ex-husband. I asked him nicely. I said, I don't want to bother you, I just need a ride. Can you give me a lift? He gave me a lift, and then he took me home. He asked me a question I did not expect to hear. He talked to me. He told me what he had been doing. He told me he ended up sleeping with somebody, and blah, 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 blah. And he told me exactly where I went. Can you hear that? He actually told me exactly where I went. I said, you lean over in Indianapolis, I know. And I know that you went to Arizona. I was like, how do you know? He said, I know. Do you know that this is when I find out that he had been tracking my phone, and I didn't know, I never paid attention to that. But I don't care, I never have nothing to hide. He could have told me and I wouldn't care. I was like, okay. I'm like, and why are you telling me all this? He said he just wanted to say, ask me one question, if I can forgive him. He wants his wife back. I said, are you sure? I look at him. I said, are you sure you want your wife back? He said, yes. I'm like, are you sure you want your wife back? He said, yes. I chuckle. And then all the way through, we talk about what we done. I talk about what I've done for the weekend, and he talk about what he's done. It's like 2 people confessing what they done. I said to him that, I thought you said you never forgive if you split with a woman and things like that. We split. I told you I was done. We signed. Let me repeat that. Let me say that. We had signed a paper of separation. The paper of separation ended up talking about the children would be staying with me, and that he would just support the children. And that's what was done. We went to notary. We signed in front of the notary, and then he signed, and the notary signed and put the stamp. Therefore, we were done. So I asked him, what about the letter? We already signed. He said, it doesn't matter about the letter. We can even tear it apart. I said, really? Are you sure? So I got home. When I got home, I salute my children. And we ended up, we were there, just there. And he entered the home, because when I left, he wasn't in the house. It seemed like he had left to go to a woman also. He said the woman that he slept with was a married woman anyway. Therefore, he has no business with the other woman, and that he wants his marriage to work. I listen to him. I hear him. I'm like, okay. Listen. Do you know the man wanted me back so he could kill me slowly with poison? When I look at my daughter, 5 years old, my son, 7, the other one, 16, who had just came back to me from his dad. And I was like, you said we can tear apart the separation paper? Yes. I kept it, I never split it because I know he might go and tell people a lie and I will not be able to prove it. After a couple of months, I hear lies on Facebook. I went and took a picture of the paper and I went under his account and I posted it on his account. So people would see when I went to Arizona and my business, we had signed papers that we were not together. Therefore, don't listen to lies. Because I don't say nothing that I'm not gonna be able to prove. Now the people he lied to, that I went and I left him for another man, they see the paper on his Facebook that we had signed a paper, notarized that we are not together. Whereas I don't sleep around. If I didn't sign paper that we split and not together, I would never had called the man, period. So, I later on started to hear that I give him HIV. So he needed a window to start the lie. Do you understand what's happening? Then I'm like, okay, hold on. I started to feel sick. I called the man that I thought I was gonna be with. I questioned him. He said, no, he's not positive. He's negative. I'm like, are you sure? He said, no, he's negative. Now I called the old lady that has, advised me that I was not sick the first time with my ex-husband who came from spending months out. And I called and I talked to her about the men because she knows the men. The man is also a 7 Days Adventist and goes to the same church. She said to me, Evans is not sick. She said, if your husband is sick, he needs to find out where he got it because Evans is not sick. Evans is with another person now and they are fine. I'm like, okay. I called Alison Jones on the line. I said to Alison the issue because Alison called me and tell me her problems too. And she said, Katsia, do you know a place called Out of the Closet? I said, no. She said, in the Goodwills, there is an office where they test for HIV positive or they test for HIV period. Go there, just have your tests for free. I listened to Alison. I went to the place and my test was free. And the guy said, you are fine, you can go, we're done. I'm like, you're not giving me any paper? He said, no, your HIV test is negative. You don't need paper. I'm like, oh, I need paper to show to my husband. He said, no, if you were positive, we would give you paper. But negative here in this office, we don't give paper. I was like, okay. Then I went home. I'm like, okay, listen, I just have a test done. My test is negative. Therefore, if you want to bash somebody's name, bash your name. First of all, I didn't cheat on you. We signed a paper of separation and the paper is not notarized. I never talked to no man until after we signed that paper. So don't be bashing my name for no reason. I talked to him. I'm like, listen, that paper, that's why I posted the separation paper on your Facebook because of what you started to say. So your family see that we were not together. We had agreed that we split, we signed paper, notarized, and I talked to somebody else. So don't lie about me and ever again. All right, so now I finished my program for histotechnology. I find a job in Virginia. So it's always God removing me away from him. Always God. I find a recipe online for what they call, it says something for the queen, the T HIV test, HIV tea for the queen. When I got the recipe, I bought all the ingredients, and I started making tea for everybody in the house, even for him, because my test was negative. I didn't need it. I got sick for a reason, because I got sick because he was doing other things to me in the house, not because I was infected by nothing. Yeah, so I boil tea for him and I give to the kids too. Whatever tea I make, I give it to the children. Yeah, his attitude is kind of suspicious. I like taking their license plate. Yeah, so now I try not to argue, because the way he made it look like I cheated on him. So I talked to the family. I said, listen, look online on Facebook, you will see a notarized separation paper that we both agreed that we were not together, and that the children will stay with me and you will just support the children. I believe they did, because after that I didn't hear my name ever again that I cheated on him. I said, I didn't cheat on you. Don't disrespect my name. We split, we signed a paper, and I went to do my things because I didn't want to stay in the house with you when we're not together. I ended up taking the job in Virginia, Portsmouth, Virginia. The hospital name was Bon Secours. I got there. My first check was $7,000 something. Because I had a $7,000. No, I had a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Because of that, the 2 weeks together, when they remove all the taxes, I got a $7,000 check. From that check, I gave him $800 plus, let's say, multiply by 2, because he had to petition, immigration petition for the 2 children he had in Haiti. $800 for each children. And the man is working, okay? But he felt that the need that I gave him the $1,600 for the immigration papers for his children. Yeah, and then they entered the United States and be ungrateful, doing witchcraft on me with their dad. So, this is too much. This is too much. Now that my test was negative, I advise him to go do the test himself, but don't do it in the United States. I didn't know if his heart was black. If I know if he had a dark heart, I would have let him do his test here, and so it would be recorded in the archive here, the Boost DB said is HIV positive. I didn't know his heart was dark. So I said, listen, anywhere you go and have an HIV test here done, if you positive, it's gonna be recorded. So I would not do it here. Go to the islands and have it done. Yes, he went to, I said go to Haiti, but he decided he went to Dominican Republic. Now remember, Dominican Republic is almost like the same as Haiti. You can tell them what to put on the paper. Now he took a picture of the papers and sent to me, showing that he's negative. All right. So he's negative and I was negative. Every now and then when we meet, okay, I don't have a man, we sleep together. Because he always act like he wants his marriage to work. I started feeling certain things on top of my head. Right here. I started to feel like things are like, it would feel like maggots right here, where the crown chakra is. I would feel like maggots. It feels like maggots, but you would think also like ants moving, insects moving. And it itch not much, but you feel the movement. Don't know what it is yet. A year passed. I spent 9 months without seeing him. I'm full of energy. I work at night and I am awake all morning until around after I cook for my children after school, and then I'll sleep and then go to work again at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. 2 o'clock I go to work and then I'll meet my children after school care, pick them up on my break time from school, and then I take them home and I went back to work. Full of energy. Negative. I was in an incident at work. I got tests done, everything negative. In hospitals at work, when you got an accident with blades and whatever, they test you to know if in case later on you become positive, so they don't pay for something that they didn't cause. Okay. A lot of years passed by. Remember, I just said I spent 9 months without seeing him when I was in Virginia. When I called him and then he said, "You want to see me?" I said yes. And then, okay, book me a ticket. Then I book a ticket. When I book the ticket, he come. Okay, spend the night. While on the phone the next day, lying to somebody on the phone and say he just visit somebody. He doesn't say he came to see his family. I'm like, Bruce Lee, you said you called your boss. If you called your boss, when you tell your boss that you cannot come back as scheduled, it's because of family issue. They respect it better. Why you lie and say that you just visited somebody and you don't say you visited your wife and children? He said no. He doesn't want to say that. I'm like, well, work in the United States respects family. If you say because of family issue you cannot come the day you schedule, they would respect that. He didn't want to say it's for family. Now you can tell that it was because of the other woman. Okay. Now you can see where the man got his HIV. Because I left him and I went away to leave him completely so I wouldn't be in the same house with him. I was not happy with what I saw. I came back to find a job and then to find my own place. The man had left the house and come back when I come back and asked for his wife back. When he asked for his wife back, okay, after I said okay, the man started to put things in me. The things that he put in me, they were like meadows in lead, particles. He does plumbing, okay? Plumbing deal with how you call this thing? It's solder. Yeah, he deals with solder. I hope I say the word right because I took the class for him. I should have said it better. When he later on, when I take medicine and enema for me to flush whatever that's from my head, I started to take Lugo iodine to help with the head, and then it started to work. When I took the flush, and then when I look in the toilet, it was little pieces of metal. Oh my God, metal particles. He did it in order for me to lose memory because metal is aluminum, and then the lead it deposit in the brain would cause memory loss, Alzheimer, and dementia. The man was already positive. He was already positive, and then he was trying to put it on me. Hello, good. He was trying to put it on me just because after we split and signed the spread paper, notarized, and then he wanted to put it on me. Now, the woman that he got the HIV, I didn't see any. That, when I see them, I put them inside because when throw them all over. That's why I take them inside for you. There's nothing. Yes, so he find a way now to pin it on me, saying that I give him HIV. Now, if somebody hearing this story, you know where the man find his HIV.
Thank you.
All right, you too. He knows where he find his HIV. He traveled to different places, sleep with people, and then he started to build a coven where they do orgy in order for people to catch the disease from him. He is vengeful. He is vindictive. How you want to give as many people HIV as you want, as you can, before dying? Do you know I never complain of his issues? Never complain. Even though his body sometimes get in my country they call it gal. His skin, his body will be full of gal. It's like rashes that are about to heal, but not really heal completely. That's in 2019. He came home from Haiti with this gal on his skin. I cure him with the gal. A lot of things on his skin. I slept with him. I still didn't get it. Because we were not divorced. I'm like, okay, he always pretend he wants the marriage to last. I slept with him. But he never says that he was positive on the HIV. Now, every time while he's propagating my name that I give him HIV, for people to cherish the lady that actually give it to him, he is trying to give it to me in the spirit. He is so dumb and stupid. Anything you project into the body in the spirit is easy to remove because it's spiritual. I felt he was positive in 2019. But in 2019, I slept with him anyway. God could have let me get the disease because God removed me from him. Every time I leave him, it's God removing me away from him because God sees I'm in danger. I know I see the plane flying since morning, but I only felt nudges one time. That's why I don't go nowhere. I only felt nudges one time. And that's the nudges that brought me back out. And then I didn't see nothing anymore. By the name of Jesus, it backfire. I send it back to the source immediately with no delay and no negotiation. By the name of Jesus, receive it. I decree you receive it by the name of Jesus. I like to send it back as soon as I notice something. The man passed by, he did something with his hand. Yeah, okay. So he was positive already. The body was decaying in the outside because the skin started to show the rashes. I didn't even know that I was immune to it, but I slept with him. When I went to Connecticut to work in 2019, I ended up with a poison, and then with the poison, I ended up getting an operation done and remove my gallbladder. Do you know that hospital in Connecticut has a record of what my husband had given to the doctor to put inside me while I was on the operation table? And then he took a picture of me with the tubes in my nose, sent to his mom to show that I am dying. Do you know the doctor accepted to put the thing inside of me? This is why the medium says that something in my DNA does not receive the HIV. Because whatever they're trying to give me, I don't have it. Jesus Christ, you married somebody, you have 2 children with them. You hate that woman so much, you don't just leave her, but you hate him too much, you want her dead because you already took life insurance on her. The man has been positive all along, and that he was trying to give me the HIV. People, the man moved now to the place where I am in Massachusetts. He's in the corners every day. At night, he drove my road. He drove my street every night. That's why I started to put a camera here every night. And on the other side of that window, there is another window on that side, and I put a camera there. Do you know the man moved here? He's homeless. He's homeless. I had $20,000, 2022, from a case settlement. I failed. I received that. It was $19,968. The workers' comp money was supposed to be about $300,000. Oh, him and my sister, his mother, Everybody he could find to work against me were doing witchcraft for me not to receive the case money. The $300,000 from the workers' comp, that money is stashed somewhere. I never receive it because they keep holding it with witchcraft. I never received that money. Now the insurance money of the people that used to clean the snow was the $19,000. About $15,000 was deposited on his account for business. Plus my 401k was closed that year for business. He wanted treatment to go to Haiti. I gave him $3,000 for my 401k, and then the rest was deposited again on his account for business. Do you know, after receiving all this money, do you know the men took me to Haiti to have me kidnapped and killed? I had a Mason book. There was a ritual there. I prepared three candles, and I light one the day I'm traveling. I light up one, the first one. And then I gave the rest to my daughter. I said, when this one finish, go ahead and light up the second one. But you can also wait for the next day. Each day you light up one. That was a ritual, a prayer for protection on journey. And my son ended up calling the hotel that we were in Cape Haitian. When my son called, my son asked the hotel owner, I've been trying to call my mom on her phone. She's not answering. Everywhere I look on the satellite, I see her in the woods. I'm trying to contact my mom. And then when we returned to the hotel, no one told me my son called, but I got in touch with my son. But they didn't tell me my son called the hotel, but they told my husband at that time that my son called and looking for me. Do you know that call saved my life? Because now they already see that if my son has find a way to find the hotel that I was in, therefore, he cannot leave me behind and say that I got kidnapped. So all the trying to give the HIV did not work. Now he tried to have me kidnapped in Haiti. So on the 4th of November, he had no choice but return with me. On the airplane, he told me that after we left, they jumped a couple. It's not true. It's not true. That man have me pay a hotel room for 9 men. So I spent my days in Haiti among 10 men, pretending the men were there to protect, and then that was the men that were supposed to kidnap me, and then he returned to the United States alone. So when we come back, he stole my U.S. passport, the card, not the book. Got another loan on my name, credit card on my name. Everything was done like I was supposed to die. Death certificate fake from Haiti come in like Katia is dead. So my sister Claire was using my name because they say Katia is dead. And so it's like In South Carolina, Florida, there's case that Ketsia is dead. Massachusetts, case Ketsia is dead. New Jersey, case Ketsia is dead. So in those states, my first husband in New Jersey using my name, my ex-husband, Bruce Dibison, using my name in South Carolina and Florida, my sister using my name here in Massachusetts. And my former landlord purchased a house on my name in Connecticut because he had a copy of my pre-approval of $400,000 for the house because he was the broker that was going to help me buy it. And then I find an address with my name that a house was purchased on my name. So all the things that he's been doing has not been successful for me to go underground. The HIV doesn't work on me. Only God knows what he put in my DNA. But people with spiritual eyes can see. The man look at me and says, something in your DNA does not contract HIV. And then he shook his head because he sees how many ways and how many times they try to give it to me. I got rid of all the metal particles that was moving in my head. Because once they get into your body, they move like they are alive. They move because they get with your blood. So your blood kind of activate them. I got rid of them with Lugo iodine. And then now he cannot really hide the HIV because people are able to see the swollen lymph node on the side of his face. People, when I used to work for doctors' offices as a certified medical assistant, I used to do blood work, taking their blood. Do you know there was a man, I'm not going to say anything because of HEPA, I'm just going to tell the story, but I'm not giving the name or information of the man. Just to show you how much somebody can be HIV positive and you don't know. There was a man, a patient that used to come every month. I take his blood because he was following treatment. Do you know that man sometimes comes with the right face is so big, starting from the chin, and then all the face is big, swollen. And when I look at his chart, the chart, I went back. I had to go back to his chart before I worked there to know the diagnosis. And I find HIV positive. Then now I know it's the lymph node that are swollen. I never asked question about him because your work as a phlebotomist, you're supposed to know from the chart what you're dealing with in order to be careful. That man was not careful. When you pricking him, he always wants to move his arm. Do you know what I had to do? I lay him down on his back to draw his blood. I said, let me make you feel comfortable. Let's lay down. I find an exam room that is empty. I lay him down and then I draw his blood. When he's finished, I give him an orange juice and be done with him. So now, the side of my ex-husband's face is swollen like that man, which I know that is sign of HIV positive. They have to drain that lymph node every time it gets too big. They have to drain it. Therefore, when they drain it, the face look normal again. You cannot tell if they are positive because they are on medication. Plus, this man I'm talking about, not the patient, my ex-husband, when he dressed up, he looks good. Be careful. Stop the orgies. You're getting sick for no reason from somebody vengeful who live in a reckless life, who don't take responsibility of his action. Care for yourself. When he comes into those meetings, planning to do orgies, say you just have sex and that you're satisfied with what you just had. This is the same as somebody giving you food. Oh, no, thank you. I just ate. Listen, I care for humanity. Take care of yourself. Stay away from a man that is vindictive. Someone careless, reckless, with no heart, with no love. The man moved where I am in order for me, for him and I run into each other, because he wants me to get back with him. 4 years, we haven't been together for years. Not four, F-O-R. What makes him think that I'm gonna be with him? And it's not that he left me in a house. I left the house for him with everything. So where did you leave me at to come back to? What the audacity of a man. Poor me. I have money places. You doing witchcraft, you block that refuse to come to me because you want me on the street in order for me to be vulnerable to hate men. And then you think I'm gonna take you back in my life? When God has done everything to keep me safe from you, in the spirit and in the physical and in the medical. People, especially those who are in Massachusetts, be careful. My sister already got it. Be careful. And I'm telling you, my mother might have had it too. Because when I met my mother may have gotten it. Yet she's spitting some yellow fluid. Oh, yeah. Okay. All I am saying is that I'm not bashing anybody. There is something that needs to be revealed and exposed for others to know. I'm gonna put his picture in the front page for people to know this man is infecting many people carelessly. He tend to come, let's say I live here in this building, three floors. So what he does, he meet with the people on the other floors. He give them powder and oil to spread for me on the ground, like planted things on the ground. And then he also give them things to do witchcraft inside of the house. I can't really sleep inside there because they jump in all night. The lady, the mother of the children on the second floor does not sleep. Yeah, she has to watch out for 3 a.m. She has to watch out for 5 o'clock. And I believe he may have waited for people to go to sleep and go upstairs and sleep. Now, the lady doesn't speak English. If he catch it, this is her. Because she allows him to use him to petty me. God will punish him with that. Be careful. I'm going to leave it right here. Be careful. There are people who are sick and don't want to pass it on to anybody. Because if I'm not feeling well, I'm not going to let a man go down on me. I'll be like, let me take care of myself. I won't do that. Because if I feel sick, even if I feel a cold, I'm not going to let a man go down on me. Because when you have a cold, the whole body is sick. Give me a break. People should know that. Anyway, be careful again. The plane started to fly again. Let me pay attention to the planes and some other stuff. I believe I give enough information for people to watch out. I'm going to put his picture there. And his picture is already on the channel because I have videos that I have posted about what I went through and what he had planned to unalive me for $1 million insurance. All of the money that he's offering has been from a life insurance. He's taking loans of that insurance to pay people to come after me. Take care of yourselves. Although you guys are my enemies, You guys have been doing witchcraft on me. I leave it all to God because I don't attack, I defend. And then I leave revenge to God. Watch out for that man, Bruce Lee Besant. He added 2 letters to his name. You will see Bruce Lee, G as in God, N as in Nancy, Besant. When he added those names in the middle, when he became a citizen, he didn't even let me know. So he had changed identity on me. Be careful.